This is the timber before they cut any white oak. They're just ready to start in on it. We sold the white oak off. I think came to $3,200. We thought we was rich then. And this is just east of the West Road, north of Louval's. I didn't. This is Sally and Phil on our east porch. And George had his tractor, and Glen on the tractor. George had his tractor fixed so it didn't need any driver. And it went clear across the field without a driver. The old Ford tractor. This is on the 20, across from Harry Turpning Place. I thought I'd get some little rabbits in a basket, but I didn't succeed, only with one. I didn't have him very long. This is Eddie eating angel food cake and dividing up for the cat. Sally and Phil fighting over a hat. And Cynthia and Sally and Phil in our front yard. And this is Eddie in front of the peony bush. And Sally and Phil. And this is Vicki Miller. And her mother, Marjorie Krupps Miller. And this is Glen and Lee and Cynthia and the Alice Lloyd Black. And here we're shearing a sheep, and the man could do a sheep in about a minute or two. It just seemed almost impossible. And this is Mary Brankton and Stella Wright and Gilmer Brankton and Charles Wright. And Glen with a little pup. That's sure cute.
What was this dog's name, do you know?
Oh, I've forgotten. We didn't have him very long. And this is hauling hay up around the corner in front of Lucy Reiner's place, Marsh Reiner's place. That's Ray Krupp, and his son Billy is spraying the field west of our house. And this is the Garcia family and Tanner Glass's family, and us down at New Salem. And let's see, These are strangers here. And this is Pearl with her dog Rusty and our dog. And Rusty thought a lot of Glen or Everett and climbed the ladder all the time to be with him.
What were they building? Machine shop?
This was the where was this shed?
Where was that?
North of the old barn on the edge of.
Oh yeah, a new shed he was building for us, and the dog would get up there and whine and cry for Everett.
That's Rusty.
Rusty, and this is Everett and Richard Turfening eating watermelon, as you see. Pearl and Everett with a snake, milk snake, teasing the dog. And this is a tornado, a result of a tornado over at on Grace Buchanan's place, east and north of Gurlaw.
1946.
1948. This is. And this is a barn from the same storm in north of the Gurlaw place. The one.
Was that Buchanan's?
And this is the, what?
Was that Buchanan's too, that one? that
No,
burned down?
no.
That house was Buchanan's.
This is the across the road from the Wright place. That was the where it took the house. And this is on the hill east of the Wright place, and this is the Wright place. And took the house clear away. And you look down the cellar and see the churn and everything, and old jars. And this is Don Turpnick's barn. And this is Cynthia picking peaches at our place. And Sally. Those are really nice peaches. Do you remember that, Cynthia?
Sure.
Those fall colors are so
Yeah.
nice. The trees.
This is over, I think, east of,
Face leads.
north of Face Elise, yes, this is. And this, right now, this is east of the Turpning Cemetery, and the bend in the road there. Now we're headed towards my grandfather's place. Should I wait?
No, tell about it. That was.
North of Charleville, where my mother was born.
That was where our kid resided.
Oh, you on the new. This is down at Vincennes, Illinois, at Memorial for Lincoln, I think. And we're at Quentin Johnson's place, and Sally and Lee and Philip. And the dog. Remember the dog's name?
Laddie?
Laddie. Cynthia and Lee, and here's Catherine.
New Salem.
Now we're down in New Salem with the Garcias, Tanner Glasses, and us. We had spent the day down there.
And Laverne Blues with
And Laverne Blue.
I think you'll see Manny on the oxen pretty soon. Is that right, Mother?
Yeah, this is Phil and Cynthia and Lee. This is a snowstorm at our house, the
Yeah,
old
Turpin.
Turpning place, and looking down from the front porch towards the road. This is towards the grapevine, toward Anderson's. And Glen coming from the barn during the storm, and I was in the back door. And this is after the storm, and Cynthia and Catherine and Eddie.
Was
Cyn-
that you up there, Mother?
Yeah, I was with them. And Lee and George, Catherine and Lee, and Phil flying a kite, and George. This is I don't know where.
That's over in the west pasture where Wayne Glass is.
In the west
Yard
pasture.
we used to
In
call
the yard pasture.
it. Wayne Glass has it now.
Wayne Glass owns it now and has a home here. This is
Looking west from about where Wayne's house is.
looking west from Wayne's house. Now we're up at Lee and Cynthia's on the Quint Johnson place. Their dog, Laddie. And this is, no, no, it's Don Bradley and the turkey.
But Phil was in there first.
Was he?
Yeah, I think so. That's, down
This
the
is
pond
Minor Hill. And a trail ride over at Young Quist Lake. Glen went over and took a picture, but he was in the wrong light to take their.
You recognize that everybody?
No, not now. I might have years ago. I never did know very many of them. This is, I think, this is Glen and his outfit when he was maintaining the road between Monmouth and Galesburg
Bob St. George.
with Bob St. George and I think Glenman was the other one.
I bet it was.
And this is at Lee's up at the Quint Johnson place feeding his cattle in the evening.
Lee is scooping.
Lee scooping the feed to them, and hauling the feed to them and scooping it out. There it goes. And this is up at Black Hawk State Park with Vern Blue and Uncle
Arthur Shaver.
Arthur Shaver. This is Vern. and
There's
Uncle
Arthur.
Arthur and Vern.
That's King Doodle.
This is Vern on the way to Muscatine, I think. And this is Vern after he shot some squirrels over in our timber. Hunters stay out. And this is down on the Mississippi. We took that ride from
South Burlington.
down from Rock Island to Burlington. And this is the Hogan family and George, Don Bradley, and Little Don, and Helen Hogan, and Charlie Hogan, and Bertha, George, and Glen.
We saw Betty Foster back there.
Yeah, Betty, and
I think we see her. And
let's see, that wasn't her, was it? And they're coming down that hill where George and Catherine were
sliding in the snow.
coasting on the snow. And this is a trail ride later that year.
Dick Hawkins is in that group, with
Yeah.
an orange sweater on.
Dick Hawkins in there with an orange sweater on. And
That's Dick
there, this is Dick, and I don't know who, and
Joanne.
Joanne
Hancock
Hadcock,
is in there
and
somewhere.
Betty Hogan
Cyberlick
is
now.
Cyberlick now. That's
There's Foster Cyberlick now.
here he is, Foster.
There's Betty.
Betty,
Roy LaBreche is that guy.
yeah.
So,
Here's Roy LaBreche, isn't
that guy's name's King, I think. I'm not, or Eagle? Eagle, maybe.
Eagle?
There's Roy LaBreche.
Yeah, here's Roy LaBreche showing off his horse. And I don't know who this is, but he's got, and this is the, John Cyberlick and Betty.
I don't know who that one is there.
No, I don't either. This, I should know her, but, oh, this is Mooney here.
Mooney, yes, that's right.
And this is our old turkey. If I,
And that's our
I-
dog.
our dog Dick's, no,
That's
your dog,
Yeah, that's Long John.
George's dog. The turkey teased the dog all the time. Another trail ride.
Probably the same group, but maybe
No, I don't, this is a different time, I'm sure. A different batch. I know Charlie Squires is in here.
not. I never did see Charlie in there, in fact.
Yeah, I think this is him right here.
But I saw May. There's the picture.
That's Clifford White and his wife. And this is a family, I've forgotten what their names were. He took pictures. And these are our turkeys and the owl that Glen caught. And the turkeys are all excited about him.
And the front
Cynthia
yard-
raised the turkeys and the cat.
in the Ed Turpin's front yard.
Yeah, in Ed Turpin's front yard. And I took this picture, and Glen was so mad at me because I didn't get close enough to take these cattle right. And I was mad at myself. And this is a possum that Glen caught and took a picture of. This is Catherine and Gail Margaret, I guess.
No, it's Ed. Ed and his little,
It was Gail.
this is Gail.
It showed a
No, the other one. This is Eddie.
It showed a new baby.
Oh. The new baby was Gail.
Yeah, new baby was Gail. And Eddie and the cat. This makes everybody cry that loves cats. One time we showed it and everybody just had a fit. This is Merwin Armstrong, Lauren Glas, and Alice with their back to us. Lauren getting in the car. Edna Armstrong. Catherine was in there. This is our dog Tony that tried to get all the water. He's a spaniel. Joyce Glass. And the dog of the basket. In our front yard. Yeah, this is Tony. Showing off. And we're at the Palisades north of Savannah, was it? Cynthia?
Looks like Starbucks to me.
Oh. This is Gail Margaret and Tony. This is Eddie and Eddie and Sally and Phil playing Ring Around the Rosie. Catherine and George and Pete Squires building a dam at home. Yeah. We're playing London Bridge over in the timber. Mary Glass, Hazel, and Lois Fuldenlocher, Joyce Glass, Phil, and Lee. Eddie and feeding the chickens at home. At the Ed Turpning place. This is Betty Willie.
Peggy Willie.
Peggy Willie. Made a mistake there. And that's Charlie, was it? This is Manuel Garcia down at New Salem on the oxen. This is Clarita and Hazel Glass and Vern Blue and Tanner and Manuel's father, Manuel. And what's her first name?
Lois?
Lois Fulton-Olger, a cousin of Glen's.
Where's she live?
That, where is this? Where is she?
She lived in Kansas, but she visited us for about 3 weeks and then went
This is
to
up in the northern part of Illinois, isn't it? Northern
yeah, this is up
Galena area.
around Galena. Near the Wisconsin line. This is at General Grant's home at near Galena. Lois Fulton-Olger and Vern Blue and Pete Squire on the tractor, I think, in the yard pasture. Is that right?
That's back to your house.
Oh, we already saw that.
This is Lois and Vern down at where's Orchard. Gail and a Trib. Outside our house, over at the Ed Turpning place. I don't know this man. I've forgotten his name. This is the Earl Olson family. Another trail ride.
We'll see May Squires that's right.
Yeah.
Joanne Adcock.
Yeah, Joanne Adcock. And May didn't ride.
Yes, she did.
Right there's might be.
Uh-uh.
No.
Uh-uh.
She had a big square hat.
No. She didn't ride. Here's May and Mrs. Reeves. And I don't know the man. This is a squirrel that we had some dry weather. And he wanted to drink so bad, and we had a tub out in the back, on the west side of the house at the Ed Turpning place. These are Lee's cows when they are living with us at the Ed Turpning place. Sally and one of the calves. I think that's so cute.
Called that calf April May.
What?
We
April,
called that-
May. It was a calf. This is after a storm
Before the storm.
at and Lucy's house.
Back to the storm.
This is after the storm. Out looking from our front porch across the road, looking towards Anderson's. We saw a big tree limb go down at that time. This is me on the dam.
That might be the next roll.
Yeah, I think it is. On at the Ed Turpning place on Joanne Malcolm's pony.
This is Crapo Park.
Cricket Park and Catherine and Eddie. And this is Phil and I. And this, where was this taken?
Cradle Park, I think, Mother.
Creeper Park? Oh, this is up at Alta.
Sally.
This is Sally. I've lost my thing. It was Aunt Belle Hoon and Cynthia. Cynthia was with a
This is Glen, Glas, Geraldine. Where's this?
This is White Pines State Park.
White Pines State Park in Illinois. Lee, Britt, and Phil, Catherine, and Cynthia. Oh, Mable Glas was there, was she? Oh. This is Glen Glas going up on the bridge, walk bridge. Tanner Glass's geese. There's Tanner. There's young geese, goslings. They're protecting them. Joyce. Tanner and Mary. You know who that is? Stone King. Stone King. Geraldine. Glen Glass catching the snake. This is what we call a milk snake. Mable Glass, the turkeys. In the front yard, they had turkey place. Okay. Okay. Phil and Sally, and that was Lee that picking up the tray. Phil on the tricycle, Sally in the wagon. George, Glass, Eddie. Edward Glass, I should say. This is over at the pond that the folks is looking north from the south end of the pond. That's Ed, isn't it? Looks like Eddie.
It is.
Auburn Quinley and Joe McBride. Been squirrel hunting.
A quiet day in the summer. The geese flying over. More geese. Glen walking through the timber. Lee and Phil and Sally and I. Sally's riding this time. We're over just east of the bayou. And this is Earl Nelson and his granddaughter on the right, and Sally and Phil in the wheelbarrow at our place. Glen's skating on the pond. Glen and some of the neighbor kids. Sally and Lee and Cynthia and, let's see, Sally and Phil. This is Cheryl Turpinning. The one red bonnet was Shirley Price, I think. And this is Cheryl Turpinning. Glen and Lee. Mary Price and this is where Glen turns around, I think, and almost falls. There he did it. That's Shirley Price. After a bad ice storm, the wires down between Galesburg and Monmouth for over a month. We were out of telephone service for just a month. the road was bumpy with ice, would have made the picture taking kind of bumpy too. They had 7 different telephone companies working on the line between Monmouth and Guilford at the same time. Then later that same year, I think it was, we had a flood. And this is the side of the
Margaret and Earl Nelson.
This is Larry Glas. Probably about 1950. 810 Harlan Street, Denver, Colorado. This is Everett Glas, and Pearl Glas, and Rusty. This is Franz Meyer of Black Mountain Ranch, where Everett and Pearl honeymooned in 1945. This old ranch is up near Conifer, Colorado. This is the old homestead, or the old buildings. This man built himself. It's an idyllic place. This is back at 810 Harlan Street, looking at the mountains. Across the road, about 1950. This is Genesee, the old Genesee area. Now we're going up the highway towards Highway 40, towards Loveland Pass. Yeah, west of Denver. This is coming up, going up towards Berthoud Pass. This is Berthoud Pass area. Uh-oh, I said that wrong. That wasn't Berthoud. This is Loveland Pass. Continental and Loveland Pass, yeah. Let's go down the west side of Loveland Pass. Gee, the old dirt road here. Looks like this is the Arapahoe ski area. Oh, I remember now. This was some skiers were coming down that area, the old Arapahoe. Now this is still called Arapahoe. There's some skiers going up. A single chairlift. Now Ralston Purine owns this ski area. And I think it's the highest in the country. No, these are not people we know. Oh, this is the old town of Dillon. This would be worth the money now to see this. See these, this is the bottom of a lake. This the old town of Dillon has moved and made it into a lake. I was thinking the other day how this area was at that time. This is South Park. We're coming back up towards Kenosha Pass.
Did you take the buildings out?
Building path. Yeah, I don't know where it is. Do you know?
Nothing back there.
Yeah, if you want.
Okay.
I don't know.
Back in the timbers.
Why don't you talk? I don't know who the. Oh, I can.
Fern Olson.
There's Fern Olson and Earl and Fern Olson. This is a killdeer.
This killdeer is trying to keep people away from its nest and lead them away by looking like it's hurt. Apparently at Dad's. This is over in the yard pasture. Wayne Glas now owns it. That's Pete Squires on the tractor, and I believe Lee Brett's digging there. Don't have anything to say. Cynthia Brett coming home with Sally, brand new baby.
Oh, I think it's Richie.
Oh, I'm sorry, it's Richie. This is Phil and Sally and Cynthia with the baby, Richie. Now we're down at the Mississippi River watching the barge. Turn this. We're over in the Folks' Pond, motorboating around. I'm not sure who all's in the boat. Who all?
There's a big heater out there on the right.
It looks like Phil in the lead, Sally, Grandma, that'd be Mable, and then George is running the motor. Don't know this people.
Her son. And Sally and Phil are washing our car. They're doing all right. But see how when they see I'm taking a picture, they really go after it. This is a trip that Glen took on the Hennepin Canal between, well, it was Charlie Willie and Durham Lucas and Glen and let's see,
Victor.
who?
Victor.
Victor, Lucas. I've forgotten who else. Glen got off, and I met him up before they finished the trip. The others all went down the Illinois River to almost to St. Louis. But Glen had to come home, and I met him at near Princeton. I can't remember just the name of the place. That's Charlie. Durham.
How about that for a bright light? That's 500 watts.
This is Richie when he was about 6 months old, eating an orange out in, they had turpning front yard.
This is Richie, Sally, and Phil. This tractor was belonged to George Glas, and it was upset, backed over a rock pile without anybody on it, and upset. This is George Holt's tractor. Three of us, we meaning George Glas, was living up at and working with Bob Holt, farming the Holt farm. Bob Holt's there, working on the tractor tire wheel. That's Don Turpning. This is Bob Holt here. I think that was me up on top. This is Everett Glas, Glen Everett Glas. And George Glas. Didn't recognize who was in front. Over at the folks' pond. Didn't recognize that baby, did you? These kids are having fun with a garden tractor over at Cameron, Illinois. And this is a Zephyr coming from Galesburg going west through Cameron.
Phil and Richie, and down by in front where those old wealthies were. The big fisherman, Phil. This is. She thought she was young again.
Who was riding with you, Mother?
Oh, I don't remember. We had lots of bullfrogs at one time at the pond, and we were over east in the three acres east of the house, and we came across these frogs, and they seemed so quiet that we got the movie and took some pictures. Glen hiving some bees. Everett and Pearl and Larry and Eddie and Larry, Margaret and Gail, Margaret, Sally, Richie, Phil. Did I get them all? I guess I did. They're
Do we have Dwight there, or is he?
No, Nancy isn't there either. Phil got a big fish this time. Phil and Richie was mowing the yard. That's down at New Boston to the boat races. We raised a lot of muskmelon one year, and I was doing some of the harvesting as well as Glen. This is the Olson family. Sunset. This is at Black Hawk State Park in Rock Island, showing the Indian powwow. Glen was one of the directors of this powwow for a number of years. This is the Eagle Dance. Indians spent 3 days a year on Labor Weekend.
Oh, they're really jigging there.
Yeah, we're back home on the North Place now again with Tony. Some of the cattle. Fall colors.
This is taken from the patches looking west.
Oh, yeah, this is taken from patches looking west, I think.
It looks like it to me.
Or this is, I don't know which. I never saw the colors so pretty as they were this year, this time this was taken. This is Vivian Glass's home. This is down on the lake. No, this is over at Tanner's. Vivian got a Vivian Glass got a beaver, and he was very proud of it. And I think Glen was just as proud too. And Glen caught a fox and took a picture of it in the trap. This is Lee and Glen. Lee's on the sled. And let's see. I forgot those were. Where's this? Oh, this is on a trip. We must be headed towards the.
Would that be a place called Monticello?
No,
Ohio.
this is. No, it isn't Ohio.
Yeah, it said Ohio.
I know,
Oh, I
but
know.
it's. Let me think a minute. It's a cemetery at Vicksburg. No, is it Vicksburg?
Was it Nashville?
No,
No, that's not.
it's Vicksburg. I'm pretty sure. And now we're down in Florida. Now we're in Georgia. Glen was surprised to see some of the designs that he had designed on this man's. This is, let that go again. This is in Galesburg.
Were you wanting to make the point that Dad had his pictures shown of his arrows and the frames
Yeah.
in all the magazines, and people had picked them up?
Mhm.
How big?
Now we're down in Florida again, or on the way. And this is, the middle one there is Mary Glass's uncle. Uncle,
The date on this paper is January 22nd, 1957. This is Glen and Mable Glas and their relic collection. This is Tuesday, April 8th, 1952. Glen and Mable Glas and their relic collection, the Rock Island Argus. This is Glen Glas, looking at one of his relics.
You wouldn't know Gilsburg again, would you? Now this is
Stevens and Thrash Machine.
it must be thrashing over at Lexus.
Oh, it says this team is
Fred Risings.
Fred Rising's black team.
Mhm. Now we're picking some zinnias. This is Pearl. We were on the way up to Loveland. Towards Loveland Pass. Colorado. Oh, I don't.
This is top of Arapahoe Basin ski area. This is a ski lift going up top of Arapahoe. Apparently we're going down now. This is on the west side of Loveland Pass. This is Black Canyon of the Gunnison. It's almost a half a mile deep. It's over near Mount Rose, Colorado. This is the Gunnison River.
Don't remember. Oh, this must be the one showing. No, guess not.
Would that be that trip you took to the southwest?
I think it
Mexico?
It's, must be.
Did you go down to New Mexico with them?
No, just the one time when you were along.
Well, that wasn't it. Larry's about 6 years old, isn't
We went and down around Wolf Pass. This is the narrow gauge. Yes, it is the time we went to Mesa Verde. Because this is what.
about New Mexico,
Where's Mesa Verde?
Southwest Colorado.
Larry ready for church. We left for home that morning. We're ready to go home. My Glen looks young there, doesn't he? Pearl and Everett and Rusty. Now this is Earl Olson's sister, Ella Doyle. And this is Marie Glas at their cabin near a lake out in Kansas. And Neil Glass and their son Larry.
She's a good musician.
Yeah.
And she taught
School for years. Oh, this is out to the Mount Pleasant, Iowa, to the what is it? What? Yeah, but what?
Old Thrashers reunion.
Old Thrashers reunion. Now we're out at a monument in
Nebraska.
Nebraska.
Was that Dad? Yeah.
Hmm. That was Glen.
And here, if I'm not mistaken, is where he was real mad because they had changed the place and put a monument at another place.
Besides,
Where it wasn't. Beside the road and where they did the fighting was over someplace else.
and he
And
just about.
He stormed for 150 miles.
He sure did.
This film had this bad spot on the side of it.
Yeah, there's something got caught in the mirror or the
Camera lens.
camera lens.
I took the projector all apart, checking it. See
Mhm.
if I had a problem.
This is Vern Blue and Pearl, and we're up at William Cody's or Buffalo Bill's monument on. That's Vern Blue. Well, I was trying to think. Clear Creek. We're out in Denver or Colorado somewhere. I think this is.
Georgetown?
I think that's Strangers.
No, that was us.
Was it?
That's Pearl.
They
Pearl and-
were first, and there comes Phil and Pearl.
King
Vern.
Pearl.
Yeah.
And Dad was taking a picture.
I think that's
That's Cynthia. This is the time Phil said, can I have that little car down there?
Awestruck.
Hey, look at you.
I think that she was
They had some kind of trouble here.
Just taking a big thing up the hill or down the hill.
Oh, that was it. Continental Divide.
Dad and Pearl married,
No, it's Phil.
Dad and Pearl and Phil were right together in a little car. Dad was taking them behind him. That was us in the other car. That was going in.
Who owns the little car?
That other little car. This little car, that big car, that car. But it really wasn't so little.
It's an ordinary sized car, but it looks so small.
But they had Clifford that time. And that's what Dad and Pearl were like that. It was so little.
Mr. Eisner stayed with Sally because Mrs. Eisner along?
No, I don't think so. I don't know. I'm sure she was.
Oh. Chipmunk. This is the Capitol building in Denver. State Capitol. We went through the Mint there. That's a big tower. We went up in that. There it is, that big tower we went up in. This is Denver we're looking around at while we're up in this big tower. No. Let's see. Yes, Red Rock. A big amphitheater. Pearl found a watch one morning when they went to Easter services there. But they found the owner, Mrs. Eichener, and Everett. This is Buffalo. I don't know.
Colorado.
Yeah, this is all Colorado. That's, who was it, Everett or Pearl and Larry? I expect.
I think that was a long time before Larry. Might have been Phil.
Maybe Phil.
Phil and somebody. Looks like Steamboat Springs, doesn't
Like what?
it? Steamboat Springs.
Oh, we're
Yeah.
down at the Garden of the Gods.
What state? Is that Colorado?
Mm-hmm. Oh, and this is the Seven Falls.
Yeah, Seven Falls.
Was there big wheel at the bottom of that? Water wheel?
I don't remember.
You know, like Kansas City, that
See the train?
Mm-hmm. Oh, now we're at the gorge,
Swinging
uh,
Gorge.
the Royal Gorge.
See that bridge going across there?
Mm-hmm.
Walk across that.
Straight down.
You're looking straight down from that bridge. You got that hand cart going down along there, pick up the bricks or the stones that fall down
Hey,
the
it looks
track.
like a snake in the
That's where
train.
the train goes through. They go through all the time to check that through, and then there's
Just
one
the
who
way.
crossed that, walked across that. Phil wouldn't go across it.
You went?
Oh, he wouldn't.
I spotted them.
Still is?
I suppose
Right.
Yeah, it's still there.
it's inborn.
We did have a picture of going down that. Oh,
Sit down in the elevator?
yeah. Well, what is it they called it? Hmm.
Car?
We're down there now.
Yeah,
Would it be a cable car?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Car, we went down.
Yeah, that's right. The Arkansas River. There's the bridge up there. Now we're headed home.
We went back a lot of years later and it looked so commercialized in every way.
Is that so?
Oh, yeah.
It was almost sickening.
Is that Glen?
It's late.
That's me.
Oh, that was Lee. Now we're on the way to Florida, and that's how they took cows from jumping out of the. This used to be a governor's mansion. It's not very far from Vern's place. And we are at Vern's place, and that's Glen and Vern. And the big wheels. Or was that Tanner?
No, that's
Hey,
Dad.
you
Yes.
just like that.
Yeah.
And we're on the way home again. Now I think on at a mill wheel. And now we're our home, and that's Bertha and I feeding the lambs.
Oh, this is the little house over north.
Yeah. Oh, I think that's. Oh, this is Pella, Iowa.
On the way.
Did you know
Yeah.
those people?
Sally and
Sally and
Rich was.
Cynthia and I don't know whether I was there.
Yes,
This is
you
a
were.
cardinal that had a nest in a rose bush outside our doorway. And the bird hatched out, but I think a cat got him.
Whose place is that?
That's, oh, that was Vivian's, I believe, and this is up the next house east. This is a parade in where?
Well, where it looked like to me was.
Here's Richie feeding the ducks.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And this is Mrs. Peterson. She had been down fishing, and that's what she got. She was quite a fisherwoman. This is Lee, or Glen, and dead Fox, and Phil, and Sally, and Richie, and some. Oh, this is Dr. Johnson's friend. She owned a lot of dogs, and she wanted to run them, so she brought them out.
Thought you were running her.
Strawberry picking night.
They look kind of green.
Yeah, Grandma picked them green, that's where you got the idea.
Yeah, they look better, don't they? This is Catherine and Catherine,
Gail.
Nancy and Gail, and Richie and Phil with the ducks, and Lois Fulsenloger, Kammerer, Mrs. Peterson again with fish.
Where you at here?
I haven't got the thing with me.
I don't know which one we're on either.
Oh, that
But
looks
you're
like
in
the
Colorado.
west. It must be the west.
Back in Colorado again. Oh, this is Glenda, and she was about 9 months old, I expect. Maybe 6. Larry and Glenda. Colorado. This is Everett, Glen, Everett and Pearl, and Larry and Glenda, and I. Everett and Pearl and Glen, Mr. and Mrs. Eichner and Larry and Glenda. At home again. Yeah, and Phil, isn't it? No, that's I don't know.
Now this one.
Oh, this is the Erickson family. They had 3 boys.
That's the building.
Yeah, this is up at Galena. Isn't that pretty? Glen caught an owl. This is Bessie and Lester Clark's home and their dog. And the dog has 2 different colored eyes, and I was trying to get the dog to hold still so I could get those eyes. They moved into Galesburg later.
Where
they live in
there? Northwest of town?
Hmm?
Live in northwest of Galesburg?
No, they lived on
Fireplace.
the
Wire place.
Yard Place west of Price's. Now we're down in Florida at the Valentine place, and this is their family. Wilbert and Mable,
James,
James,
Tricia, and Melba.
Patricia, and Melba. And they had a chicken farm down there. Now we're at George Allen's place, where Glen and I and Tanner and Mary stayed for about a week and a half looking after his place while he was in the hospital. And Tanner's picking some oranges out in his yard. Glen's picking now. Now we're back home again, and this is Glen and Mr. and Mrs. Hagenjosh on the left, and I don't remember the man's name on the right.
I should know it.
Taken in our front yard. Now this is our family and coming out the back door is Catherine and Lee and George and Everett and Phil and Sally and Richie and little Eva Wolford. Now we're in Florida again, watching them pick cotton. Thank you.
Why, those cotton pickers.
And the cows wore pokes down there a lot. And now we're back home again, looking at the cardinals in our backyard. And this is Dwight with feeding the lambs.
You see Dwight later on again.
Yeah. And this is the old hen with the ducks. And we're getting ready to build on our 2 bedrooms. And Glen's digging the first row. And this is at the cemetery with the Dunbars.
Henderson's cemetery.
Henderson Cemetery. Now we're at home again, and we've had a flood. And Pete Squires and his family are over there trying to get some fish, and they got a lot of fish. And Glen's in there too, with the two boys, and Loeva and one of the girls. And our cattle over in the pasture. This is Dwight again, younger this time. This is George and Dwight. This is the children, Sally, Gail, and Dwight, Nancy, and Phil, and Eddie, and Richie. And here's Sally with her new doll. Her walking doll. The 2 bedrooms are getting done. Sally getting ready for a party.
A couple of years later.
A little later. I remember it was a cold day. Cool anyway. And this is
East. In your backyard.
backyard. Sunset. I don't remember who these boys are. This is Richie feeding the ducks with the dog, Tony. Nancy picking nasturtiums with her doll. We're out in Colorado again, I guess. This is Larry. Glen, I think. And Glenda. Larry was wanting some specimens for his butterflies and so on. We decided this was Lynette, didn't we? This is Lynette. And Pearl. Lynette. Larry and Everett and Glenda. Lynette and Everett, Glenda. This is Sally and Phil playing badminton in our front yard. turtle.
Sure getting a bath.
Sure is. Now this is over at Tanner's. Now we're over at Tanner's, and these are Tanner's tame geese that he raised. I think he had around 150 or more. Stone Mountain in Georgia. Cypress trees. No. Here's the cypress trees.
These aren't cypress,
I think they are down in Florida. It says they are anyway. Now, I don't know where we are. Oh, this is where the bear is, isn't it?
Yes.
This is down in the Smoky Mountains.
Back home again.
Are we?
Yes. At your house.
Yeah, I guess so. Back home again. Now we're over at Alexis, south of Alexis on the Kell farm, where they're demonstrating threshing. I think this is Fred Rising's
That was Fred.
outfit.
That's the outfit that ran away then.
Yeah, that little mule team ran away one day.
I don't think we went very far.
No, I don't think so, but created a little excitement. Now,
This is still threshing.
where?
That was still threshing that we just looking at.
Oh. Now I'm not sure where we are.
Could that be Scott's Bluff?
I've got it down here, Chimney Rock and Scotts Bluff, but it's at the end of the film.
Where's your cypress?
Yeah, these are cypress trees. It's back home. Now they've sure grown, haven't they? Now this is, now you tell them who they are.
Well, this is Gail. And this is Becky Patton, Betty Babbitt. And I don't know who's behind. Nancy.
Nancy.
Sherry Patton was on the lead.
Jerry Patton was leading.
Who?
Sherry.
Jerry Patton was leading.
Sherry Patton.
Well, I don't know who is with the. Yeah. I think it's a couple that came out to take some pictures one time. I only knew them one afternoon, and I've forgotten their names and all about them.
the cemetery on the hill.
Looking at the cemetery on the hill.
This is
And this is the Indians, wooden Indians that Glen had, and some of his collection. And this is a festival in Monmouth, and at the end is Richie and Arnold Schuler on horses. Linda Conley on the car.
Richie and this other boy will be right
I heard it. There's the boys, Richie and Arnold Schuler on the ponies. And here we are they're breaking Duchess. A horse belonged to George. And who's on the Gail and Ed
are out there too.
on the other horses. And this is, Fred and Gertrude Glas in Pampa, Texas, in Glen. That didn't look like Glen.
It was him. It was him that didn't want to.
It was him, all right. Now next is Central City, but
It said New Mexico.
this is Central City.
Oh, Everett, Earl, Larry. Oh, is that where church? Colorado, is it?
Yeah, this is,
But it said show church.
No, I don't know. You're right in.
yeah.
Right there in the center of it.
Is this Colorado?
Yeah. This is Glen on the bicycle in front of Everett's house. Here's Everett's home right here, in front of the garage. Who was it? Now they're going on a ski lift. This is at Vale, wasn't it?
Yes.
And here's Everett and Lee and Pearl and Cynthia and Lynette. Now this is Maroon Bells near Aspen. And next is, this is Maroon Bells. Now, in there,
Samantha at Coon at Pearl.
and Samantha at Pearls. Samantha was a coon, pet coon. And this may be around Cripple Creek. I've got it here. But it don't look like I remember it at all. Old Faithful at Yellowstone. Bear at Yellowstone. Elk. Sheep on the way somewhere. Oil well at Midwest.
Is that Simmons Ranch there?
Yeah, this is Sims Ranch, where Glen stayed. Mhm.
This might be his homestead.
Yeah, it could be.
Rolling was, isn't
No, it was level out in front. But here's Yellowstone again. I don't know why they're separated, but they are. The crowd at Yellowstone. Here's the Tetons. Moose, Yellowstone. No, it's all right. I just want to straighten my leg. More moose. People looking at them. No. Or at the cemetery at Henderson Cemetery. Glen's giving a talk after McLaughlin and Dunbar gave a talk. He got lots of compliments on that talk.
Tell about the stone.
Oh, they're dedicating the millstone that belonged to his great-grandfather.
Was it just put up there then?
Yeah, let's put up that summer before.
And the stone where the eBay place before?
What?
Where was the stone carried when Thompson?
It was underneath the barn over east of the Forest Flower School. And he heard it was there, and he asked the woman if he could have it. And I forget, he gave her something for it because it was helping hold up the barn. And he put another stone underneath. And this is Hickman, one of the directors at the Henderson Cemetery. Glen was a director or a trustee for a long time there.
That's it.